MW Logistics is an integrated logistics service provider in Europe with rich experience.
Firma MW w ciągu ostatnich 3 lat z małego przedsiębiorstwa rozwinęła się do firmy, która obsługuje ponad 200 klientów.
To further strengthen its supply chain capability, MW Logistics has been cooperating with JD Logistics to explore innovation and upgrades in warehouse automation.
Rynek e-commerce bardzo się rozwija. Widać to w ostatnim czasie, w ostatnich latach. Dlatego też, aby sprostać oczekiwaniom naszych klientów, jak i rynku, zdecydowaliśmy się zwiększyć naszą powierzchnię magazynową. Na ten moment procesujemy na 26 000 m2. Są to 3 lokalizacje. Jedna z tych to jest lokalizacja dwutworowa.
As the first smart warehouse customer of JD Logistics in the global market, MW Logistics collaborates with JDL to fulfill optimizations in terms of storage, overall layout, automated management, and system architecture. The project adapts automatic warehouse management and shall optimize personnel structure in terms of goods storage, inbound diversion, outbound packaging, labeling, and sorting. These measures will help save human resources. Meanwhile, such deployment shall optimize the warehouse layout and improve storage capacity. From a logistics operation perspective, the inbound booking module, compatible with various 3PL scenarios, shall help strengthen resource scheduling capabilities by adapting to complex operation patterns such as multiple inbound methods and VAS flow management. Intelligent Vision is equipped to help track goods and parcels along the whole process. The overall system structure is also revamped to fully support GS1 throughout the whole process and to make leveling to international logistics standards. With the support of JD Logistics, MW Logistics has been effectively improving warehousing management capabilities and operation efficiencies, increasing such efficiencies by 250% and lowering labour costs by 60%. The automation upgrades shall help provide MW's client with safer, faster and more efficient services.
W tym okresie czasu zbudowaliśmy stabilną markę na rynku europejskim oraz azjatyckim. Dziś MW to nie tylko operator logistyczny, ale także innowacyjne przedsiębiorstwo realizujące projekty na skalę międzynarodową.
As of now, JD Logistics has implemented logistics technology projects in multiple countries abroad, providing overseas partners through technical empowerment with logistics technology solutions in a full range of business fields.
Hi, this is Adam from JD Logistics, and I'm in charge of the global market development for JDL Supply Chain Solutions. And today I'm very happy to be here to share what JDL has done in the past few years to build its own supply chain infrastructure and how we did it. And most importantly, why we believe that the tech-driven supply chain is the core competitive edge of JDL. So this is the agenda for today's sharing. First, I will allow me to introduce JD and JDL a bit so that you guys can get familiar with this company, this group. And secondly, also the major part is that we will share about the challenges that we have seen in the past few years and what we are expecting that will happen in the near future. And the third part will be the solutions and case sharing, some more concrete use cases that we can share with you guys so that a more intuitive perspective can be demonstrated. And the last few parts will include the hardware lineup and also one of our system solution. And then we'll have this client portfolio. But these 3 points will be just a quick browse through. So let's just get started now. So first, about JD and JDL. JD is actually now the leading supply chain-based technology and service provider. And why it comes to this situation, I will explain later. But it is also actually the first Chinese internet company listed on the Fortune Global 500. And it is kind of a big group covering a whole different kind of dimensions of business sectors, as you can see on the right-hand side, including retail. We've got logistics. We even got insurance, and the total revenues in 2021 was almost 150 billion US dollar. So quite impressive. And active users annually, we've got 580 million, and employees, it's over 400K. And so JD is actually very well known for its authenticity and also its speed when it comes to delivering. So, and why is that? So just for content, JD is actually the largest retailer in China, both online and offline, and which means that we actually procure our own inventory and then we redistribute it. So it's not like any other e-commerce platform that they will just facilitate the tradings between the seller and the buyer, and they might take some service fee out of it. That's not what JD do. We actually run as a retailer, and this makes kind of justify the motivation of building our own logistics services, because we have been well known for its user experience, not only the item itself, but a big part of the user experience is decided by the delivery time, the overall fulfillment experience before the items actually reaches in the hand of the users. So that's why we have this 90% of orders fulfilled within one day or the next day. And it's just, having this nature as a retailer, having this nature of emphasizing on the overall user experience instead of the products only, we kind of move into that direction. And then we have JD Logistics. As I mentioned earlier, there is a great motivation for JD to build its own logistics network just to give its user, its consumer, the best experience. So that's why since 2007, this whole logistics network of JDs has been established, and then finally it becomes a independent entity, independent group, subgroup under JD Group. And we are actually, JDL actually is the largest integrated supply chain service provider in China. We cover a lot of different aspects. We have a lot of warehouses. We can deal with bulky goods. We can deal with cold chain, and for sure, last mile delivery, cross-border, and cloud warehouse. So on the right-hand side, you could see some of the fun facts of JD Logistics. We have like 100% of coverage from a CD perspective. So as long as you are not in a extremely rural area, we can reach you, which is pretty impressive. And we have this rich experience in managing all different kinds of logistics facilities and resources. The current accumulated aggregate gross floor area is over 30 million square meters. And that corresponds to over 1,500 of logistics facilities. And there you can still see some of other figures. And one of those is the Asia One Logistics Park. So among those 1,500 of facilities, we have a flagship warehouse, or we should say a flagship logistics park called Asia One, which looks like this. So these are the different Asia Ones in different country, province or cities. So some of these are actual photos, some of them are rendered, but anyhow, it's just to give you guys a feeling of how this Asia One can be like. It's just a massive scale of deployment, a combination of many complex, many different kind of warehouses using different kind of equipment, different kind of solutions, logistics solutions. And each of them, on average, will take approximately 50 acres of footprint. And so this is kind of like proof on the capability, the experience of JD Logistics as a solution provider, as well as a logistics operator. So what makes us, JDL, capable of doing so? So first of all, we kind of split the two core capability into the two drive wheels. One is what we called logistics network. It is very operation oriented and it happens in the physical world. And the other will be the foundation in a digital world to support the operation that happens in the physical world. So that would be the JDL technology. And basically, what we are doing here is to allow the use cases actually happened in the past decades in the physical world to become kind of a input, a soil to build up the digital world, the data to be collected into the digital world and become something to support the automation, the digitalization, and the intelligization of our technologies, and then using those resources to be fed back to the physical world to improve the overall operations. And this can covers a whole lot of different kind of categories, including FMCGs, apparels, house decor, bulky goods items, and fresh foods, automobile, and electronics, which is actually the origin of JD e-commerce. So coming one step further, who did all these? It's JDL Supply Chain Solutions, or JDL SCS, or another nickname is JDL Technology. So there are 4 pillars within this business unit. First, we have planning and consultancies. So think of it as a high-level consultancies that we provided to most of the time big brands or FMCG groups or retailers. They might have their own logistics parks or industry parks. Or there is another major audience would be the local governments within China. So some governments, they are seeking breakthroughs economically by building or fostering this friendly environment for e-commerce businesses. And when there is e-commerce, there must be corresponding infrastructures, and logistics is a big part of that. So that's why we have this high-level consultancies that will cover not only the logistics aspects, but also the e-commerce, the overall operation aspects. And the second pillar would be the technical products, and this is more concrete, more touchable. So first we have systems. As you can see on the, okay, sorry, I will use a laser pen to indicate. So we have this upper part here covering 4 major systems: order management system, warehouse management systems, transportation management systems, and billing management system. So these are what, in general, a supply chain will use, of course, in a different part of the chain. And below that, we will have WCS, or warehouse control system. This is more like within a node along the supply chain. So let's say you have a distribution center, you have a sorting center, you have a delivery stations that utilize some automation technology. So in that case, you will certainly need the WCS to control those equipment to fulfill the orders or the tasks sent from the business layers, the operation systems here. And the third pillar will be technology empowerment. So think of it as modularized parts taken from the technical products. So for example, some of our clients, they hope to upgrade their operation in general. However, they still want to keep their original systems, since this migration is, we're going to take a lot of costs, time costs, monies from them. So they will more prefer to have upgrades on their existing systems. So that's why we have to separate certain useful modules from the technical products. So this might include 5G technology, Internet of Things, big data, etc. Okay, so the third pillars will be these modularized parts. And the last one, the logistics ecosystem, it's more creative. So for example, if you're looking at JD smartphone here, it's basically using the blockchain technology, using the RFID technology to trace down some agricultural products to achieve a higher transparencies along the value chain, the supply chain of this particular products. So yeah, these are just a brief intro of JD, JDL, and JDL SCS. And now we will move on to the important things, and which is the big topic for today. What are the challenges we are facing, and why we said that a technology-oriented supply chain is something that is pretty much inevitable and crucial. So first of all, where is the market going? Where is the supply chain going? This is what we believe. So first of all, I have to emphasize that some points here is based on the understanding within the Chinese market, but I believe it could be some of the reference value for markets out of China. Okay, so first of all, the requirements from market changes, and we divided those changes into three parts: people, products, and places. So first, people. We can see that there are more diversified demands, and this is actually coming from a more diversified target audience groups. And why is that? So for example, in China, we have these kind of terms called post-90s, post-95s, or post-zeros. So what are those terms means? So for example, post-90s are the people who were born after 1990s. So post-95 will be those born after 1995. Okay, so you could see that the segmentation of the target audience is kind of more elaborated. It's not like a decade as a group, or not 20 years as a group. It's 5 years as a group. So now you can have a very intuitive feeling of, oh, the market is changing at a faster pace compared to the historical markets. Okay, so this will end it into, especially for the youngsters, they will have a more personalized pursuits when they are buying some goods, some products, or some services. And there, still secondly, there are small town youths and silver economy. I mean, in China, but as a developing country, we are going through that phase. But I believe like most of the Western countries have been there as well. For the small town youth, they are not like youngsters working in the big cities with heavy burden, work burden, like loan burden, because the houses here are just crazily expensive. But instead, they have a better, well-balanced lifestyle, which makes them more willing to spend money on all different kind of things. So that is one part. And secondly, we have silver economy. So some of you guys might know that actually China had this policy of one child for each household. That was a history, but it brought some impact to the whole social structure. And silver economy is kind of like a excessively boosted market here. We have this big gap between the youngsters in terms of the population of the newly borns, the youngsters, and the elderlies. And apparently now the silver economy refers to those are getting older, and maybe their parents haven't been affected by the single children policy. So that's why it takes kind of a big portion of the current population. So that is also something to consider in the current market structure. And then also we see that the users, the consumers are kind of spoiled, basically. They are expecting things to get into their hand in a way shorter time compared to previous situations. And also they kind of want to have it more flexible, which I will cover later on. And then the fourth point, sense of personal identity and brand belonging, it's just something that echoes to the first point. We have this more elaborately segmented TA group. Each of them will have different kinds of personalizations of demands, and they expect to have something more than standardized services or products. Okay. So, which also leads to the increased requirements on experience. So product-wise, now that from the demand side, you have all these different kind of change. For sure, from the supply side, you need to take actions to cater to that, or otherwise you're gonna get cut off from the game, right? So more diversified products mean more SKUs to manage, more SKUs to streamline, and this means increased complexity in terms of operation. And this, in a more specific way to describe, it's just a constant evolution of products. You're gonna, upgrade your products from time to time, quite frequently. And in terms, it will comes into like smaller batches when you compare it with the traditionally produced SKUs. And all of this will kind of like shorten the lifespans of the products. And also you still need to take into consideration of all of these new kinds of shopping seasons created under the consumerisms. Okay, like in China, we have June 18th, which is actually the birthday of JD. And we have Double 11, very well known around the globe. And in the Western countries, you've got Black Friday, Cyber Monday, etc. And this is something that for sure as a operator, as a logistics operator, we need to think about. And then for the places, remember that when we are talking about people, we mentioned the consumers are spoiled. They not only want things fast, they want things to get into their hands in a favorable time for them. So for example, they might not want you to send the order's goods to their door. Okay, they might want you to put it somewhere in a picking point at a logistics locker and just take the goods on their own, just for non-contact needs. Or maybe it's just simply they got back from work and they will pass through that picking points, and they expect to get the newly ordered fresh food, fruits from the supermarket. This is what the new requirements from the consumers are growing. And apparently we can conclude that with one term, it's omnichannel. So maybe there's some people just challenging, is omnichannel a thing? Is it really a thing? And from our perspective, we believe it is, and we actually see it's happening, especially in China. So I think it's fair to say that the Chinese market is very, very advanced in terms of logistics services. The one thing is because we have this crazy quantity of orders, of e-commerce orders and brick and mortar offline orders. And with this population, this destined to have a well developed logistics environment to support that kind of scale of transactions. So coming back to omnichannel, a lot of innovations in terms of this kind of model, supply chain model, is actually happening in China, and we need to react fast. Otherwise, if we can't fit to those diversified scenarios that the consumers are expecting, we lose them. So when it comes to the new retail, I think we are not just talking about the quality of your products, the quality of your suppliers. No, it's actually the quality of the overall user experience, from the supply, just go, and to the last point when your items actually reaches the hands of your users, your consumers. And that's why JD, I think, it's actually quite, having vision back 10 years ago to 20 years ago, because at the very beginning, JD not only emphasized on authenticity, it also emphasized on, I want to have the whole shopping experience, the delivery, be also very, soothing for the consumer, and allow them to be totally rest assured when they buy something from JD e-commerce platform. So these days, we are kind of like doing the same thing, but with just taking it to another level by using different kinds of technologies and different kind of systems and solutions. But before we jump into that, let's still take a look on the right-hand side. So what are the trends that we observed? So first of all, we think the brands that cares about how they are expressing themselves will really need to think about how to build their omnichannel structure or network. Okay, first of all, consumers they have their certain behaviors when they're doing the purchase, when they're shopping, and this can kind of be like a gold mine that you want to dig out and to see what factors along the whole supply chain, the whole value chain will affect the activeness of your users and the loyalty of your users. So this is not only data anymore. This is actually a strategic assets. And despite you have the assets, you still need to know how to use it and how to make it a reference when you are trying to upgrade your supply chain. Okay. And so now there's one terms here called C2B. It's basically from channel oriented to consumer oriented. Now, why we are talking about omni-channel, for sure, different kinds of channels becomes the most relevant topics when you are trying to cater to your consumers. Although their needs are the core, but the way you fulfill it is just the channel. So trend number one, just how to fit into such C2B model. And trend number two will be direct to customer. So basically, if we look at a traditional supply chain model, a push model, the products that are being supplied are kind of pushed down to the consumers layer by layer. You have manufacturer, you have the big dealer, you have the regional dealer, and you have the shops, and then you have the consumers, right? But now we are more emphasizing on how to deal with the needs of the consumers from their direct perspectives, and why we are emphasizing on that. So this has to be discussed along with a new, relative new way of providing your services and goods, which is, for example, social media. Like if we're talking about TikTok, in China, actually a lot of people will just buy something through the link provided by social medias such as TikTok. So with that, what the suppliers is facing here is there is no longer those many layers in between to fulfill the vendor's products to the consumers. What the consumer wants is, okay, I ordered this from your TikTok channel, from your link. I expect to get it in 2 to 3 days. Okay, and this is actually like a less demanding one. The most demanding one is I want to get it tomorrow. Okay, but anyhow, direct to customer is just simply a trend. Through the development of the internet, through the development of faster internet, the consumers will get more informations more efficiently. They don't need to read through a brochure. They don't need to see a flyer. They just take it from the internet and they want to try it once they see something intriguing. And you better fulfill that as fast as possible. Otherwise, your potential customer will just run away. Okay, so direct to customer is just something that will be happening and is currently happening in the Chinese market. Okay. And trend three will be digitalization upgrade. And apparently, when you're dealing with so many different kind of new sources of data, of consumer data, of order data, of inventory data, if you are using still traditional methods of managing your supply chain, it's not gonna work. It's either not gonna work or work poorly because you cannot catch up with the steps. You will be dragged behind. Okay, so digitalization is just pretty much a must, especially after the post-COVID markets. I know that in Europe, the whole situation has opened up quite early, but in China, actually, we are still kind of used to living under a quarantined environment. We need to order something through the internet, and also the logistics need to fit into such market environment. Okay, no matter it's order fulfilling or no matter it's just demonstrating what kind of goods you have through the internet. And all those just come back to digitalization. Without digitalization, there is no room for you to actually take actions to fit in the market. And the fourth trend, the last trend will be unmanned operation or less manned operation. We think it's going to be the holy grail for most, not only JDL, but any company, any entity that is going to use logistics during the fulfillment of their value. Okay, so there we've got intelligent factories, intelligent warehouses, plus carbon neutral industrial parks or logistics parks. So we know these trends. Then what we have done, I'm not gonna go into too deep in this part, but I think we have a quick conclusion here, and later we will have a quick example. So first, as we concluded, the rising complexity of the demands and supplies basically make the whole markets more dynamic, and you cannot sit onto a simple, rule or mindset. No, you just need to be very adaptive. And the brands are urging for digital upgrades for apparent reasons. Without digitalization, there's no room for any kinds of optimization. And the third one is interesting in particular. So for Chinese e-commerce brands, actually a lot of those is looking for some growth out of China. So for example, in North America, you have Temu. In the Southeast Asia, you have Lazada, you have Shopee, and many of them actually have this Chinese capital behind. But the thing is, China as the world factory, we actually still carries a lot of capacity, production capacity of supplying goods to the whole world. And especially during COVID, and even after COVID, we still have a lot of export happening. So this is also something, especially for certain brands that are not looking only the domestic market within China, the cross-border business and the corresponding management behind it is also very relevant. And then we have manufacturing, which is kind of the source of the whole value chain. You first have the production, and then you have logistics to cater to that production, to the delivery of those products, right? And below these, it's just a conclusion from a survey. So I'm not gonna dive too deep into it. But instead, let's see a quick use case here. So what we think about the current supply chain is that we need to have a more efficient, more dynamic, and more responsive ones compared to the previous version. And why is that? So let's actually start from the graphics here. So let's say you're a supplier, and apparently if you don't have any corresponding resources to upgrade your supply chain, this is what would typically happen. At least like in China, we have seen a lot of companies, a lot of our clients have been facing some or all of these issues here. So from the very beginning, how they could plan their incoming production operation, it's basically based on the historical data, but that might be really relevant because again, the market is changing extremely dynamically. And how they can react, pretty much it could only build up inventory at a very excessive level compares to what they really need in the end. And this overcapacity is just coming from the lack of flexibility of production and also the allocation of their inventory. And this will just result in high logistics costs, warehousing costs, transportation costs, which will not actually generate sales for you because the goods you send there might not be sold at all. Okay, so all these kind of issues is just agonizing the suppliers. And for the customers, again, they have been spoiled and they don't expect the supplier to provide such an unmatching products or services. So this is just what really happens. And here comes the market trends, at least within China. Again, we have seen that the digitalization under this context is just booming. In 2021, it has been like 2.8 trillion RMB just for supply chain digitalization. We don't even take into the solutions, the upgrade system, automation upgrades into account. Okay, it's already 2.8 trillion. And why are these so important? Again, for all the suppliers, for all the players, you need to maintain your position in the market. Otherwise, you will be left behind. And digitalization on the demand end has actually been quite established in the previous years. And now it's just the time for the supply side to catch up. Okay, we need to know that when it comes to the complex sources of needs, that means you kind of need to have a corresponding systems to catch those needs and transform them into some product or some services you can get. But the big issue here is the different systems that you are using to receive the many sources of demand requirements actually cannot speak to one another. This is actually happening in many of our clients, especially the big ones, because maybe the regional company here is having a logistics park here, and they have their own they have their own way of doing things. And another part, another business unit in another city or another province, they might have another set of systems that will do something relevant with the things that this province, this branch has been doing. So this will actually create a unexpected high cost of communications, and therefore there is pretty much no synergies that you can think of. So aside from that, you can also have some other very practical issues. For example, what we just said, you are overstocking certain inventories, and this for sure will create burdens from a capital perspective. And what we have been doing in China is just kind of utilize all different kind of resources available. Like we have our own warehousing network, we have our own delivery network, we have our truck fleet, and also we have JD Finance. So we kind of utilize all different aspects and resources to allow our clients or partners to levitate their burdens, not only with technology, but also with some operation solutions for them as an integrated part of the supply chain solution. So here comes the cases, the use case. But before that, I have to quickly conclude what we have been doing, what we are able to do. So in short, just look on the right-hand side. We have supply chain solution, logistics park solution, and automation solution. And on the left-hand side, you can see that it's kind of a complicated puzzle here. But in short, we pay attention to operation, we pay attention to the supply, we pay attention to the demand, and we pay attention to innovative way of alleviating the burdens in either part of the said supply chain nodes. Okay, and this is the use case that I was hoping to share as soon as possible. So, company A, it's a healthcare brand, leading brand in China, and in 2018, JDL has been collaborating with this company. And again, what we are looking at here, or should I say, like pretty much all of the partners that we are collaborating, you just either want to deal with the service capability, or you want to deal with the fulfillment, timeliness, or you want to improve the customer experience, or you want to optimize your costs, or all of them. So all the things we're doing here just cannot leave or the core points that I just mentioned. So how this evolves, again, this company A is also had been utilizing the traditional supply chain management, the push model, and the apparent issue here is when they are producing their products, when they are shipping their products, when they are putting those products into their shops, they're distributing, that might become irrelevant by the time when the goods are actually available for the consumers. Because again, the market is too dynamic, the change happens too fast, and there's just not enough time for the traditional supply chain to react. So what we are doing is basically we kind of like put the end users upfront. We want to know the demand first, and then we think about how we're going to deal with the supply. Okay, so we will have this customized supply chain management system. We utilize big data, and where is the source? Apparently, JD, as the biggest retailer, we can somehow dig out the value of this consumers' data, and then plus merged with our logistics operation experience to build up a management system that can allow our partner company A to learn upfront what is probably or very likely to happen in the near future, and then it becomes to deal with its warehouse planning, its network planning, its inventory allocation, which city or which county should build what kind of inventory. And when this region has any orders from the consumers, we can ship it out right away. So this is just basically duplicating the development that JDL has gone through in the past days when we are providing service for JD e-commerce. So what are the results? You can see the red words here. I would say it's quite worth it. It's like 10 million RMB per year, which actually, in terms of ROI for this particular partner, I would say it's totally worth it. And on the other hand, so this is just internally, you can see the figures. It has a great improvement, but also from a consumer's end, the brand's image, the brand's quality of services is like well received by its consumers. So not only operational figural improvement, but actual brand image improvements. So what have we done to do that? I couldn't talk too deep about this, but this is just a general picture of the structure we are doing. So first, the upper systems, the management systems, it's more related to this part, operation, business logic, etc., and maybe some other resources like JD Finance. And underneath those, when it comes to each node along the supply chain, we still need to look what's happening within a facility, within a warehouse. So again, JDWCS is something really essential here, because an automized warehouse versus a non-automized warehouse could be like 40%, 50%, 60% cut of labor costs or operation costs. It depends on what kind of category, what kind of solutions you are using. But anyhow, we first want to optimize the cost, and we want to increase precision. We want to increase timeliness. So not only from the upper systems, we also work quite hard on the WCS. So basically, you can think of this is a brain that will control all different kind of equipment within a facility. And what it do is really taking orders, taking instructions from the upper systems. The upper systems give you a mission, and the WCS will just break it down into smaller pieces and translate into the language that is understandable by the equipment through each different kind of agents here. Okay, so once it's done, WCS will report such a result and telling the upper system, okay, the things that you want me to do, it's all done, and you can move on to the things that you're gonna do. So with this clear cut here, we can have a more focused operation within the facilities, within the equipments themselves, and while the business layer can take care of the things happening here. Okay, and also just one small point here. Why are we having this additional layer is just because some of our clients or partners, they are using a very dated system. However, they might need some upgrade to get bridged with the WCS. And so that's why we are having this additional layer to allow such implementation. Okay, so I'm gonna just quickly go through the rest of the slides. So again, JDL has been operating a whole ton of facilities, so that's why the WCS here has been integrated with pretty much all of the major brands available in markets. And that will allow us to have more flexibility to react to our clients and partners' needs when they need some automation solutions. And here are just some additional goodies that comes with the JDL WCS. And we have been mentioning the Asia 1 Logistics Park. And just for information, the newly built ones actually integrated some different kind of technology, including 5G, Internet of Things, and AI. So we are not only focusing on the facilities itself, like within the four walls of the warehouse, but we also care about how the different facilities interact with each other, with the vehicles, and with the people working on it. So this is just to increase not only the in-warehouse operation, but the whole logistics operation in general. And you could see there are some typical improvements, scale of improvements on the left-hand corner. So here I will just speak along with this video. So this is actually one of the Asia 1 Logistics Park. It's called Dongguan, Asia 1. It's kind of the largest warehouse we have in southern China, covering several million of populations. And it's integrated 78 stacker cranes within this one facility. And just for content, JDL is actually the largest integrator of stacker cranes in China, with over 300 stacker cranes, and 78 of those are in these facilities. So this is just to demonstrate how JDL is generating value through its rich experience and also its solution capabilities. And we still have some of other cases out of the standard logistics scenario. So not e-commerce anymore, but we actually did solutions for finished goods warehouse, for finished goods warehouse, for raw material warehouse, for 3PL warehouse, and for SMT warehouse. So the third one is interesting in particular. So normally what we do is we pick by order, which is a typical e-commerce logic. But in this case, our client is a 3PL, but its client is actually a laptop manufacturer. So that's why we have to, have this adaptability to fit in, to configure it as pick by BOM or bill of material. So this kind of demonstrates the capability of our systems. And we are able to have this function called pre-kitting, which allows the kitted picked items be sent to the production line directly, fit into their tech time, and to make each kit directly available for the upcoming production processes. Okay. And the next page is still some other scenarios, some other cases. This is just the very few of all of our external cases. The third one is actually a bounded warehouse. It has this two segments. One is for pre-duty, another is for post-duty. And the whole facility is designed in a very compact form to allow a simplified workflow and streamlined material flow. So actually, we have around 400 automation projects, and approximately half of them is for our own use, which is the typical e-commerce scenario, and the rest of them, the other half, is just for just many kinds of different clients from many kinds of different industries. Oh, and the next page is just to demonstrate what we have been doing in the overseas market. I mean, like in terms of China. Okay, we have warehouses in Germany and Netherlands for e-commerce. We have a two-phased project in Poland. The first phase is handling AGV. The second phase is based on first phase. We have inbound automation and outbound automation. And also in South Korea, we have this handling AGV, but not for storage anymore. It's for material handling in food production line. So this is a quick video of the project in the Netherlands. It's actually serving a local brand called Hunkemöller. It's a underwear brand, and I think it's quite well known in Europe. So basically, we have this solution, and we also do the operation for this brand to fulfill its order with a way better labor efficiencies and operation efficiencies in general. Okay, so this part, I'll just go through it really quickly. We've mentioned that WCS integrated a lot of different kind of equipment during the past projects, but also because, again, we have like hundreds of automated warehouse of our own, we kind of really need to deal with the core equipment ourselves, so which includes tow shuttle. We design it, we developed it, we manufacture it in our own tech centers. And this is, again, a short video for the bounded warehouse that I just mentioned, which utilize the stacker crane plus tow shuttle, and the tow shuttle, which is the independently developed by JDL. Okay. And the next one is handling AGV. This is also a core kind of equipment that we have. We actually have multiple warehouses, e-commerce warehouses, utilizing such flexible solution. And from the hardware aspect, we also make some breakthroughs in terms of its capability, its components, its battery life, etc. But compared to the other markets available AGVs, but I wouldn't dive too deep into this for now. Okay, and this is again a quick video. I'll just show a few shots of such AGV. This is actually the 2.5 generation. Now, currently, what we have is the third generation, which has the breakthrough of certain specifications in terms of the vehicle itself. Okay, and we can see it here, slightly different in appearance, but very different in its mechanical capacity. Okay, and lastly, we have auto renewal. This is for small and medium parcels, typically used in fresh food scenarios or pharmaceuticals or fashions, especially return fashions. Since you might have this inbound sorting scenario, which is extremely labor intensive, and it is proven that such a solution is very helpful to increase the overall operation efficiencies and throughput of a certain facility. Okay, and this is a quick video. I will just show you the core parts of it. So yeah, this is the general appearance of this equipment. And what it will do is it takes the items fed through this feeding station. And then you will have scanners to scan the code on it. And then you have this mini shuttle to sort it, to rebin it into the destination chutes, and which will then be carried by the receptacles here, and then reach the following destinations that you expect it to go. Okay. And the last part is it's kind of a system solution that is also briefly explained in my previous slide, but we'll just go through it quickly. It's called LogiMAT, or logistics mirror. It's basically capturing the small, previously overlooked details of the operation and kind of implement it into the overall operation management. So there are four pillars: smart station, digital fleet, smart vision, and smart identity. And I will just jump into the use cases so that we can have a more concrete understanding. So this is a LogiMAT station. Again, it's pretty much deploying a lot of different endpoints. It could be robots, it could be cameras, it could be vehicles to capture all the different operation figures that was previously hard to observe. And the digital fleet is a kind of like appendix to your existing fleet, just that it will have more digitalized information, including the route planning, including the monitoring of bad behaviors of the drivers, or maybe the monitoring of the space usage, the temperature control, and all of them is concluded by the number plate of each vehicle. And then we have LogiMAT Smart Vision. For this one, I will skip because we have a more concrete, intuitive cases later on. Okay, so case sharing one. This is basically, again, a food manufacturer in China, a big one. It's called Shifuji. And we implemented several different solutions that we just browsed through. And what it results in: first, digitalization and a more compact workflow. And therefore, you can have less human intervention and the waste of labor cost and the waste of paper cost. So actually, just the paper cost saved from this upgrade alone costs millions of RMB per year. And then this one is very interesting. We have this RFID technology. Sounds traditional, but actually we combine it with many different kinds of technology here, including forklifts, including drones, robots, or just manual scanning. But anyhow, because JD actually has 79 bulky goods warehouse across China, so we first take one of them out for experiment, and then last year we fully deployed this solution to minimize the labor efforts wasted into traveling back and forth in this bulky goods warehouse, because things there just tend to be large and which will take a lot of footprint, and which means that the daily maintenance of such inventory is just very effort consuming. Okay, so that's what we have done with RFID. And then we've mentioned the smart vision, right? These are some actual use cases, including this moving one, because from time to time, especially during peak season, we need to have external human resources, which can be a little bit unexpected. So we need to have some kind of way to monitor that they will not behave violently and break the commodities within our facilities. Okay, and also JD as a e-commerce platform, it also provide, again, good user experience. We also help our consumers to fix their gadgets, to fix their phones, to fix their PCs. So to have a full clarity, full transparencies of what's going on the workbench, we actually allow the user to use JD app and maybe just click through its maintenance order, and then they could see what exactly happened on the workbench when their own property has been sent up to for fixing. And others are, in general, for all the facilities that you might need, long traveling distance conveyors, you might have things dropping down. For big sorting centers, from time to time, you kind of have to face the congestions there. So the LogiMAT Vision just will deal with that and will pop up a notification upfront, so that before the situation actually happens, you can deal with it. Okay, and so the last one is the client portfolio. As we mentioned, we have been serving like many different kind of clients and in different kind of industries, and we are confident to say that for certain industries, we kind of have some know-hows, especially in retail, in pharmaceutical, and for the 3PL. Okay, so if there is like any further discussions you might have, please feel free to let us know, and I'm sure our expert will have some brilliant ideas to share with you. So yes, that's pretty much all for today, and thank you for your time. And again, we'll be available through LinkedIn or email. Thank you.
In 2004, JD.com officially launched its e-commerce platform, positioning itself as a technology and service enterprise with supply chain at its core. On May 22, 2014, JD.com landed on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. In June 2020, JD.com completed its secondary listing on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. JD.com's businesses cover retail, technology, logistics, health, insurance, property development, and international business. As a new type of real economy enterprise with both the characteristics and attributes of real economy enterprises and digital technology and capabilities, JD.com is making progress on all fronts of businesses. With practical and innovative development experiences, JD.com has been contributing to the high-quality growth of the real economy and building sustainable growing power. Upholding the operation philosophy that value creation should be trustworthy and customer-centered, JD Retail has prioritized innovation and continuously created value for customers and partners. It has committed to providing customized products and services for customers in different consumption scenarios and at various connecting terminals. Thanks to its powerful supply chain, technology, and marketing capabilities, JD Retail enables customers to choose products and services that suit them at the right time and right place. The number of annual active customers of JD.com reached 580 million, with a steady increase in user scale and quality and a record high in purchasing frequency. JD Retail has covered multiple product categories, including electronics and entertainment, home appliances, fast-moving consumer goods, fashion, home and lifestyle, fresh produce, life services, and industrial products. As the leading technology-driven supply chain solutions and logistics services provider in China, JD Logistics has established 6 highly synergized networks, including a warehouse network, line haul transportation network, last mile delivery network, bulky item logistics network, cold chain logistics network, and cross-border logistics network. It covers almost all districts and counties in China, as well as its total population. As of June 30, 2022, JD Logistics operated over 1,400 warehouses, including warehouse space managed through the Open Warehouse platform. JD Logistics warehouse network had an aggregate gross floor area of approximately 26 million square meters. Same-day or next-day deliveries covered China's 94% of counties and 84% of towns and villages. With the mission of leading global efficient distribution and sustainable development through technology, JD Logistics is committed to becoming the world's most trusted supply chain infrastructure service provider. Upholding the experience-based, technology-driven, winning through efficiency core development strategy, JD Logistics has been serving the real economy, helping enterprises to improve their overall efficiency and reduce costs, promoting the high-quality development of the industry and continuously creating social value. JD Technology is a subsidiary business group of JD.com, which dedicates itself to serving industries with technology. Its mission is to guide digital and intelligent transformation with technology and build a more efficient and beautiful world. As JD Technology's core technology brand, JD Cloud is catered to enterprises, financial institutions, and governments, and is dedicated to the goal of being the cloud that knows the industries to better serve digital and intelligent transformation. By means of cutting-edge technologies like AI, big data, cloud computing, and IoT, it has provided products and solutions for various industries and has helped businesses lower supply chain costs and raise operation efficiency, thus become one of the most trustworthy technology companies. JD Health, a subsidiary of JD.com, operates comprehensive health-related businesses based on its strategic positioning of a health management company for the whole life cycle and all scenarios of users with the supply chain of medicine and health products as its core. medical services as the key and driven by digital technology. JD Health has become China's leading healthcare solution provider, offering a wide range of products and services involving the entire industrial chain, as well as complete medical processes, all healthcare-related scenarios, and users' entire life cycle. JD Health's business scope includes marketing and sales of health products, medical and healthcare services, digital health management, smart medical solutions, and more. It also cooperates with enterprises and organizations spanning the entire industrial chain to create a more comprehensive healthcare ecosystem. In October 2020, JD.com announced for the first time about its new generation of infrastructure targeting the next decade, JD's Digital and Intelligent Social Supply Chain, which is adopting digital and intelligent technology. This supply chain is designed to lower social costs and boost social efficiency by optimizing all the links covering social production, circulation, and services. Since the all-around technological transformation in early 2017, JD.com has invested almost 80 billion yuan cumulatively in technology, aiming to promote the in-depth integration of digital technologies with the real economy. While creating social and environmental value, JD.com has been giving full play to the growth of new entity enterprises and contributing to the high-quality development of the real economy with persevering craftsmanship and a constant pursuit of perfection. In 2021, JD.com published more than 220 papers on top-level international academic conferences, received over 60 awards in domestic and international competitions, and realized more than 260 technological breakthroughs and application innovations. JD.com is committed to promoting the implementation and large-scale application of scientific innovations and the digital and intelligent social supply chain in all walks of life. We are dedicated to the solid developing of the digital economy to achieve continued high-quality growth and invigorating the real economy to realize sustainable development. We believe JD's vision of becoming the most trusted company in the world will be realized.